a rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but the beauty a rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land.
What is up, fantasy football fools? We are back with another week recap. Well, not really back because we haven't been here in a while, but we are here with the week 5 recap. Hopefully our weekly podcast will get a little bit more regular. Jacob's over here having some technical difficulties, so no camera for him tonight. I think he was afraid to show his face. But without further ado, I will let you get into your big matchup here against Lubasi, a fierce competitor.
Yeah, this was a blowout.
I would say so, yeah.
I almost doubled his score. It was fun to watch as me, probably not with Lubasi. Breece Hall got his snap count is at 100% now, so he just went off against that weak Denver Broncos. He's got the Eagles this week, so I'm actually excited and kind of nervous to see what he does against the really good run defense. But I kept telling Lubasi Tajay Spears was scoring a touchdown, his first touchdown this week, and he wasn't believing me. And for sure, I think the second half he scored the touchdown coming out of halftime, and I was screaming. I was excited for him. But yeah, not much to say. I really like the team. My team right now, they're coming together. The last 2 weeks, I scored 120 or 130 last week, and then I put the 150 up this week. I think my team's coming together. This was without Amon-Ra too. Hopefully, I'll get him back next week. I think I'm starting to be. I'm trajecting up while Lubasi is going in the basement.
Lubasi has had a rough few weeks after the week 1 victory. He is on a 4-game skid right now. And I got to say, this is not a biased opinion, but things are looking a little grim over there. I don't know. It's just every week is just rough. I mean, look at all those single digits and also a Goosey out of the tight end spot. He keeps plugging Hunter Henry in there. He keeps underperforming. I mean, I don't know. This is a tough. This team is in rough shape right now. I'm not saying he's out of it. I think he's still got a 9% chance to make the playoffs, but he has got some work to do. And he just lost Justin Jefferson this week, as everybody I'm sure knows by now. But if you told this guy that Gabe Davis was going to be his highest score for the week, probably not going to be looking like a good week, right?
Right. The Justin Jefferson news is really is awful, but he does have some wide receiver depth. As you can see, Calvin Ridley's on the bench with the 20 spot.
And also, why is Calvin Ridley on the bench, you know?
Yep. That was a good bench, though, if he was debating him and Gabe Davis, because Gabe Davis got 1.4 more points. But, yeah, I get it. But Calvin Ridley slides into Justin Jefferson's spot, and it's not the end of the world. I mean, you can't really replace Justin Jefferson, but Calvin Ridley is a good replacement for him. But I don't know. This guy just loves Najee Harris. I don't get the love for Najee. I would have played Jaylen Warren. It was only 2 points, but this guy just keeps plugging Najee in.
Oh, it's 5 points.
No, Jaylen got 10, 11 points.
Jaylen got 10 points, and Najee got 5.
Oh, Najee. Oh, I was looking at projected. Oh, yeah. I was looking at projected.
5 points. But the funny thing is, he started, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but he started Jaylen Warren over Harris. Jaylen Warren outscores him. And here we are again with Harris back in the starting lineup and gets outscored by Jaylen Warren again. Like,
yeah, I think just with PPR, I think Jaylen Warren is the person that you'd want in your lineup, but it's his team, so let him cook, let him do what he wants.
Let him cook. Hey, he's going to a ship,
he's going to a ship, which I don't, not looking good. Like you said, 9% chance. We'll see. I think Lubasi just needs to string some wins together, and needs to start winning fast.
Yeah, going to a ship, but that ship might be the Titanic. You know what I'm saying?
So then we're going to go to Jeff and Chewy's game. Jeff had a rough week. A lot of single digits from his running backs and flex, and defense didn't really play good. What do you think about this matchup?
I mean, I think biggest takeaway here is Chewy just kind of continues to throw up good numbers. I mean, I don't think this guy's had a score under like 110 yet. I mean, he's got a couple tough losses with high scores, and he just keeps on rolling. This team definitely looks pretty good, and that's also with a 1.2 from Miles Sanders, who is just not looking great this year. He did have Mike Evans on a bye, as you can see there. But he gets Cooper Kupp back this week, which obviously was a big addition. Devontae Adams had a slow week, but his other two receivers with Adam Thielen in there picked up the slack. I mean, this team looks pretty good right now, and Devon Achane is out for probably at least a few weeks, so Mostert steps up probably into that starting role in Miami again. Chewy's team is looking good here, and Jeff's team is looking decent, not terrible, not great. He's had a couple. He's kind of on that up and down roller coaster ride right now with his team. What do you think here?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to figure those running backs out. Derrick Henry, I don't know what's going on with him. I think I read that Tajay Spears and Derrick Henry have pretty much split backfield reps. I know Derrick Henry's had more touches, but Tajay Spears has been on the field just as much as Derrick Henry, and that's a little scary. I know he's like 31, I think, so he's getting a little older, but that Titans offense just doesn't move the ball, and Derrick Henry's more lethal when they're in like inside the 10, inside the 5. You know, he's going to get the touchdown, but they just don't have that many opportunities this year so far. So I don't know if I'm Jeff, those RBs are making me nervous, especially RB2. I mean, who are you plugging in there?
Yeah, I don't know. Latavius Murray is certainly not the answer, though.
He's just throwing darts from 100 miles away and hoping it hits 50.
I think he picks up a new guy off waivers every week to put in his RB2 spot.
He's just throwing. But like, if he can get that figured out, I mean, AJ Brown and Hurts' stack is really good. That stack's been good all year. Mark Andrews is, number 2 tight end. I mean, I don't think this year, but he's a number 2 tight end week to week, top 3 at least. So it's still looking all right. What is he, 2-3? So 2-3, big matchup against 2-3s with you and Jeff. But I think Jeff's still hanging on.
Yeah, he's not out of it. Like I said, not great, not terrible. He's kind of on that up and down ride. I know Derrick Henry, I think last week had like 20 or 30, and Jeff put up a pretty big score. So, 24 spot. But I mean, look at that. Like Jeff's team's almost living and dying by the Derrick Henry ups and downs here, which is not in a position you want to be, relying on kind of that. But his running back trenches are just brutal right now, and I agree. He's got to get that figured out. If he does get that figured out, I think this team has potential for sure. He's got other good spots here. Chris Godwin on a bye last week, but I don't think that helped him here. And just Jacoby Myers with a 20 ball. That might have done well in the flex spot, but still wouldn't have got him the dub. And I think this team is good, not great, but if he gets that running back situation figured out, he can make some waves.
Yes, I agree. All right, so we'll go to Chris and Rudy's, and I was rooting for Rudy here to get his first win. I know Chris is kind of down 1-4, pretty bad, but I think Chris has a really good team, and I feel like we said this about him last year. He just can't find wins, but he has a solid team. I like the Bijan. I like the running backs, but now Achane's kind of out for 4 weeks at least, so he kind of gets weaker here. The wide receivers don't look great. T. Higgins is hurt, but T. Higgins really hasn't done much all year.
No, he has not. It's been
he had that one really good week, but the rest just been bad. So looking at Chris's team and just looking at the names plugging Justin Fields up in that quarterback spot, he's got some dangerous names. It's just they haven't really panned out, especially with Achane. I think this team really steps backwards. And I'd be a little nervous if I was Chris going into 1-4. I don't know who he plays this week. But I'd be a little nervous if I was him.
He does have JT on the bench, so if Jonathan Taylor gets going, I'm sure they were easing him back into the offense. I know Zach Moss went off this week. I don't think, 6 carries. I'm sure they weren't going to plan to rush him back in his first game, but he did sign a new contract, so that will definitely help Chris in the long run, especially after Achane goes down. The Anthony Richardson injury, tough break. I think he might win this if he started Justin Fields here. It would have been really close.
No, he would have won.
But yeah, so that's just a really tough break. Romeo Dobbs, I mean, that Packers offense looked like absolute dog shit last night. Jordan Love is dookie buns. That guy fucking stinks. So yeah, just I think Chris has a great foundation here. He's just got to find the pieces to kind of plug in and build around it. And I think he'll start scraping up some wins. But congratulations to Rudy on no longer being the only winless team in the league. He gets his first win, and I heard through the grapevine he was trying to talk some shit earlier today. So I'm glad it's getting to his head as fast as it's happened.
1-4, he's talking shit. That's funny. But I mean, he should get Saquon back, I believe, next week. You plug him in instead of Matt Breida.
Saquon does have a projection right now of, I believe, 14 points. So he is, as of today, it looks like he's going to play.
And then Justin Jefferson going out, I mean, only spells pretty good things with Jordan Addison. I don't know. I look at it two ways. Jordan Addison's going to be getting maybe their best cornerbacks on defenses. So I don't know if that's the best thing for Jordan Addison, but he should get more volume, which, you know, is good, is king in fantasy. So, I mean, this team doesn't look bad. It doesn't look like a 1-4 team if you plug in Saquon, just going on the name basis. But I know you got a lot of work to do.
Still had Nick Chubb in there too. I mean, this team's looking a little bit different.
Oh yeah.
But a couple tough breaks. But yeah, I think he's got some pieces to build around. Puka Nacua still killing it, even though Cooper Kupp's back in the lineup. So that's a positive sign. I mean, that Sam Laporta pickup or draft, I'm not sure which one, but that guy has just been a tight end one from the jump. He drafted him. Yeah, so that was a great pick in the draft. He's been doing great in that offense. And yeah, I think Rudy's got some solid pieces here, and maybe he can start scraping up a few dubs. I know he does play Lubasi this week. We've got the Battle of the 1-4s, the 2023 Toilet Bowl this week, and there's already some sparks flying on the shit talk there. So I'm excited as hell for that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say any game is a must-win game right now, but 2 1-4 teams, one of them is going to be 1-5. I damn near stamp that as a must-win if I were them.
I have to imagine that both of them are probably in their own heads thinking, if they lose this one, season might be getting close to over because they're both in single-digit playoff percentage chances right now, both 1-4, and like you said, someone's walking away from this matchup 1-5.
Yep.
And you just have to imagine that that's not going to be a good spot to be in.
No, it definitely is not. All right, so we'll go to Jimmy and Johnny's. This was another blowout. What are your thoughts on this game?
Domination. Johnny bounces back
from a 0.
From his terrible week last week. I think he maybe put up one of the worst scores we've ever, probably the worst score we've seen in PPR because this is our first year doing it. But he comes back swinging. This is another big week for Johnny. His team has looked so strong all year. And like you said, he does it with a Goosey on his lineup here. I'm not sure why he started Mooney. Oh, he's got DK on a bye. That's why.
He's got a lot of buys.
But yeah, I mean, just a great bounce back week for Johnny here. It's like I said, he's been dominant all season except for that one game last week versus Nick. And he, I guess, decided to turn on the Jets because he was down and out last week, but he's back on top now. He was our last undefeated team, and the train's not stopping. This is I think this is a pretty scary team, but I mean, it doesn't look that scary really. But I mean, the guy just keeps putting up points, so you just can't deny it. It's a real strong team. What do you think here?
Yeah, I mean, it looks better with DK and Kenneth Walker in there for sure. But you know, Dylan held his own, and then Mooney, of course, didn't. I don't know, Tyreek. Anytime I go against Tyreek, I would automatically think he's getting at least 30.
Yeah,
which isn't the best for the
crazy.
Which is really good for Johnny, but yeah, Johnny's got a really good team. I don't know. We'll see how it goes with him next. I don't know who he plays next week, but yeah, he's probably, I think he's second in points. So yeah, I mean,
It's
just a
gotta be.
solid year so far for him. And I don't know, he started off strong last year and fizzled out. So maybe we'll see it again this year, or maybe we'll see him actually finish the season out strong.
That's true. That is very true. I do remember that. I think he started last season maybe as one of the last couple
5-0.
undefeated teams too, and then just kind of fell off a cliff. But the good news here is the week he falls off the cliff, he brings it right back up, gets a dominant win. We'll go over Jimmy's team here. Now, this is a team that I feel like is just kind of been right in the middle of the pack all year. What is he, 2-3 right now? I think we have the same record.
Yep.
Yeah, just kind of riding the middle wave. It's like it's not super scary team, but he's putting together some wins, and he's kind of in that spot just like me where like it's not quite panic mode, but we definitely got to get our shit together, right, and get the train back on the tracks. This is definitely not a great showing for him, dropping an 85. You never want to see under 100 in a PPR league. That's not. I've been there. I'm not judging at all because I've had over 1 week of that myself. It's multiple times, so it's tough. And hopefully he can bounce back. He's got a lot of buys here, so those are out of the way now. Hopefully he can get Austin Eckler back, and I think he's got a decent team, but just got to put together some wins similar to where I'm at. Just gotta get those dubs. What do you think of Jimmy's team here?
This guy's got 3 quarterbacks.
The
All the quarterbacks. But yeah, I mean, if you look at his first 3 scores this week, you think he'd have a really good week. But his wide receivers just really disappointed. I mean, you get CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Smith their projections. He's definitely got like a 110. I mean, he's not going to be Johnny, but at least his score is a little bit better. But I don't know. Those Eagles, I really hate having a receiver for the Eagles because, I mean, I've got it, so it's not like a receiver, it's a tight end. But, 1 week they're going to put up like a 2-3, and then the next week they're going to explode for like a 30 ball. And it's frustrating that you got to ride those waves. But Devontae Smith has had his games this year. I think this is his worst
one game.
Yeah, he had a 6.8. But, that Eagles offense just is really – those pass catchers just can have some peaks and valleys, and you win and lose by them, and it kind of sucks. And this time he lost, but Eckler is going to make this team a lot better. You put him in the flex, and then if you get any production from Devontae and CeeDee, this team is a little better than I think league average in my opinion, but he's still, like you said, riding the middle wave.
Yeah, just not been that super flashy team, not been terrible either, just kind of riding in the middle.
Yeah, he's had some bad starts because he's probably should have played Montgomery every single week, and I think this is the first week he's played him.
Yeah, I know last week he was on the bench with a 34.
Yeah,
which is tough. And I also feel like Devontae, I feel like ever since A.J. Brown was bitching about not getting targeted enough, now all they're doing is throwing to him, and I feel like Devontae Smith's kind of getting left in the dust there.
Yeah, I agree with it because that was a Thursday night game. I think week 2 or 3. So
after Devontae's big game, I think.
Yeah, it was during his big game, I think.
Yeah. So it's like, what the hell?
Yep. All right, so we'll go to Dom and Nick's, who has been the best team regarding in points. He puts up a 68. I think Johnny put up a lower score than him last week. I'd have to check. We're going to have to check that at the end. But this is another just pure blowout. We had a couple of those this week, but Dom's team actually finally came alive with his wide receiver or with his Bengals.
And he sacked Joe Burrow.
Yeah, at least one Bengal came alive, got a 50 ball. Jamar Chase finally does something. He was the 4th pick of the draft, and these numbers are ugly. Actually, they're not actually as ugly as
the last few weeks he's been getting his targets, but ever since last week when he started pitching to his team too. I'm always saying I'm always open.
Yep.
Just throw it to me, and they listened this week.
And they got rewarded. Dom's team is looking – I don't know. It doesn't look like a 4-1 team. I think he actually has the lowest points in the league before this game happened. So he's probably like bottom 3 or 4 still. He's just got lucky on matchups, and I don't know. This team doesn't scream out 4-1. It's a good team. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't know. You leave James Conner out now. He's out for 4 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some holes are starting to poke out on this team, I think. But Jamar Chase is starting to get his target, so that's a good thing. But there's also some holes in this team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It doesn't jump out to you. The running backs are kind of tough, and take Connor out of there, it's just going to look a little bit worse. But if the Bengals offense can continue what they did last week, he's definitely going to be in the mix. I mean, we've seen a lot of his low scores, but the Bengals offense has been absolute trash until last week. So if that gets worked out, maybe he starts putting up higher scores. But yeah, he has gotten very generous matchups. They gotten some wins with some low scores, and he finally puts up a big one here. And funny enough, didn't even need it. He could have won with an 80.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing to point out of the Bengals, they did do this against the Cardinals. I know the Cardinals have been actually pretty good this year, but they're still a bottom 10 team in the league, and the defense is probably bottom 10 in the league as well, probably even lower. So it's going to be interesting to see when they play a better team. I don't know who they play this week, but to see how they look against a better defense. It's a big test, I think, for the Bengals this week.
Do you think they looked good though? Joe Burrow looked a lot better, just like
Oh yeah,
watching that game than he
oh yeah.
has all year.
But
And
he
then
was actually throwing the ball downfield.
yeah, exactly. And then on Nick's side over here, like you said, guy's been putting up hella points, and I think the last 2 weeks has had, or maybe he put up a big one last week. I know Aaron Jones last week didn't do much either. It was his first week back, and he only played like 3 snaps or got
Yeah.
5 carries. Or wait, that was this week. Oh no, this week he didn't play. That's right. Okay, I was screwing up the weeks there. Yeah, and then he plays him again this week, and he gets a 0. So really tough. He's got McCaffrey in there, who had one of his lower weeks. Lockett on a bye. I don't think that would have helped a lot. Just a tough week. I mean, Dak Prescott kind of sucks, if we're being honest. I don't know if that's just my opinion or if you think the same, but I think he might suck.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. And the Cowboys, I mean, they played the 49ers, so I guess it's not like that's just a really good defense. If you look at his other scores, it's not great.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah, like Arizona, he's put up 14. I think they lost that game.
They did
Arizona
lose that
too.
game. They look like ass, and the games that they've won, I feel like their defense almost won it for them. Like Dak's
Yeah.
just not good. I don't know.
Yeah, you could see which games they lost and which games they won just based off their defensive points.
Oh, so
That's
they're
great.
3-2. Okay.
Yeah, they're 3-2. But yeah, I don't know. There's some holes in this team. I don't know. I know it was a bad week and everyone has a bad week, but I don't know, man. The Cowboys, like you said, they're bad. Christian McCaffrey has just had a crazy start to the season. I don't know if that's sustainable, especially after that 48. There's no way he could keep doing this, and you kind of see it.
Yeah,
as
he
a
definitely came
14
back to
ball
earth
hitter.
this week for sure.
And he's got Cleveland, who's a pretty good defense. So that's going to be a pretty good test. I play Nick this week, so I'm not mad at the Cleveland matchup for Christian McCaffrey. I hope that they can contain him a little bit. But I don't know. And Jalen Waddle's been really bad this year. I wouldn't say really bad, but he was a second round pick, and these numbers are not second round pick worthy.
Yeah, that's definitely tough. I mean, that offense just has so many weapons. I'm sure it's hard to spread the ball around. But I mean, Tyreek's literally open all the time. And
Yeah.
then you got those running backs that are just firing on all cylinders too. So tough for Waddle to find some space out there, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad. Like, this is a good team. Don't get me wrong. He's 4. No, he's 3-2. He's 3-2. He's got the most points in the league by still even putting up a 68. He still has the most points in the league by at least I think 30. We'll look at that, but I don't know. We'll see how Nick's team stands up. He's going to get Deontay Johnson back after the bye this week. I think they have a bye this week, but the Pittsburgh offense just hasn't looked that great anyway. So I don't know how much Deontay can save his wide receiver core. I'd probably still play Lockett over him.
Yeah, oh yeah. And then you got Zach Moss down there who's been killing it, but with JT starting to get acclimated back into the offense, I'm sure his touches are probably going to start to tick down at least a little bit. I'm sure they're not going to be splitting 50-50. I'm sure Zach Moss will still be involved, but you got to think Jonathan Taylor is probably going to take the lion's share of those snaps, at least by the next couple of weeks. Maybe not this week, maybe not next week, but at least, 3 weeks from now, Jonathan Taylor is going to be running that backfield again.
Oh yeah, I agree. Hopefully it's this week, just so, because I know Nick's probably going to start Zach Moss this week, so hopefully it's this week. But we'll see. I'm excited for the Knicks matchup. I'm glad I didn't see him during the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season because he just ran through everybody, and we hopefully his team continues to kind of go downhill. At least this week.
I haven't played him yet, so if he just starts trending down, I'd be okay with that till he gets to me.
All right, we'll go to the last game of the week and probably the game of the week. James starts the week with a 50 ball on a Thursday night, 49, close enough to a 50 ball. And I know you were not feeling great after that.
I was not, no. I obviously was watching that game, watched the whole thing, watched DJ Moore just continue to rack up yards, rack up touchdowns. It was a sight. It was a very exciting night for the Bears offense. I was happy about that, but I couldn't help it in the back of my mind just be like, holy shit, this guy is going to destroy me. And his projection jumped up to like 150 or 160. I was still down at like 117 or something. So I was not feeling great coming out of Thursday. I had pretty much already chalked this up as a loss. But then 9:30 a.m. on Sunday rolls around, and my guy Travis Etienne decided to put the team on his back, drops me a 36 ball. Christian Kirk gets a modest 14. And then the rest of the team kind of fell in line. Josh Dobbs dropped a deuce on my face. But other than that, very good week. If I had my man Jay Urbo in there, we would have been firing on all cylinders. And honestly, though, hats off to James. This was a great matchup. It's tough to lose with 128, but I'm so happy. I needed this win. This was a must win for me.
Yeah, Travis really didn't go off till the second half. Christian Kirk played pretty well the whole game. He was just getting his catches like he does. But yeah, this is a good game. James had DJ Moore on Thursday, and I think he only had one 1:00 game, and that was Dalton Schultz, and he put up a 20 ball on you.
Yeah.
And then the 4:00 game started with Tony Pollard, Kyron Williams, and P. Ryan, and they all did not do well. And Garrett Wilson, and that's when James, I think, started to sweat a little bit. When he had to rely on Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers defense, he was pretty much screwed.
Yeah, and as soon as the Packers got that first pick, I was about ready to be done with it. I figured that was it. Christian Watson wasn't getting shit. He got one catch, I think, on the first drive, and then just nothing for the rest of the first half. I was like, this is toast. But then Jordan Love started throwing picks, just started throwing them to the other team. One of them was literally, there was no Green Bay Packer in sight. He threw it right to the Raiders defense. And I was like, oh my God, like I might actually win this game. And then Watson got like a 80-yard catch, should have been a touchdown if they didn't cheat. But I could not believe that I got the win. I'm so happy I did, though. I needed that so bad. But again, hats off to James. This was a great matchup, and I think James has a pretty solid team for most weeks. I know a lot of guys kind of shit the bed with the single-digit stuff, but tough matchups, I think, on that side of things. And I do think James has a solid team here.
Yeah, Tony Pollard's been kind of bad the last couple weeks. Hopefully he can turn it around. 2 single digits. But I'm high on Tony Pollard. Ian, I was in the beginning of the season. I still am. So, James, if you want to give him to me, I will take him. But, yeah, we'll see how James season goes. That first week just kind of screwed him with Aaron Rodgers, and now he's got to roll with Jordan Love. He had Keenan Allen on a bye, so you put him in the flex. This team's a lot better looking. But Garrett Wilson has some question marks. Just anybody on that Jets offense that's not named Breece Hall is gonna struggle. I mean, just Zach Wilson is just not good. So we'll have to see how that goes. But they keep getting wins, or at least they got the win. And hopefully Zach Wilson figures it out. And maybe Kirk Cousins goes to the Jets. That would really help a lot of That would really help Garrett Wilson at least.
I could not see it happening. But
I don't see it either, but that's best case scenario for anybody who has somebody on the Jets. But all right, so we'll go to the standings. Here are the standings right now with your percentage. You see the single digits, Rudy and Lubasi. Toilet
bowl.
Toilet bowl coming to you live this week.
I can't wait.
Yeah, so and then we got Chris at 16 and Jeff at 27, the lowest in our division. I don't know. We're starting to get a little later in this season. We'll go to points right now. And you can see, Nick's just still in the top spot, even with that 68. But yeah, Dom is still last in points. So that's what I thought I saw this morning.
4-1 team, last in points. That's crazy.
And you want to know why he's last in points? It's because of that.
Yeah. And you've only got 10 more than him. That's even crazier.
Yeah, but I'm fourth in points. So I'm fourth in points. So my team is still putting up numbers. It's just my defense is impeccable.
Right. Yeah, that's what it is.
But you see Lubasi's name under here and Rudy's, so I guess this is really what it is right here. And Chris is 1-4. James is still 3-2 with still putting up really big numbers. You've had a tough season. Chewy, of course, the first 2 weeks had a tough season. But yeah. That's crazy. Then we'll just go division because it really matters this year what your division record is. So that is what we're looking at with those.
Good for me.
And then we'll go win streaks just to see Lubasi's L4 down here.
That's so crazy.
You know the crazy thing? Yesterday or when I was looking at this today, Johnny has only made one move this year.
Wow. And move. If you're putting up as many points as he has been, what do you even need to change, right?
I don't know. I mean,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Johnny.
I'm throwing darts on the waiver wire weekly. I don't know.
Oh, same. I'm up there. I'm making moves too, but I'm also 2-3. So I don't know. If I started off the year as hot as Johnny did on that, what was he, 4-0 or 3-0? I don't know if I'd be making a lot of moves either. He obviously had pieces in place, so I get it.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I just wanted to check Johnny's score last week. This is week 5.
Is there a timer on this? I think we're running low here, but we'll let's highlight these weekly matchups.
So he had 64 last week. So so we'll go to this week's matchup. We got me and Nick projected to be a really close game. We got Jeff and Ryan, big game, both 2-3. Johnny and Chris. Ooh, Chris has got a tough matchup to not go 1-4. I would not love that matchup right there.
1-5.
1-5. This is a good matchup. James and Jimmy. Jimmy needs to start showing up a little bit, see if he can get his team rolling.
Big projection.
Yep. And then Dom and Chewy, probably the game of the week. That's not the toilet bowl. Those are two powerhouses, at least record-wise, that's going at it. And then you got the toilet bowl.
Oh, my God, look at the projections. That's going to be the best game ever, dude. Oh, my God.
Well, this projection doesn't have Saquon in it. So.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
Probably had like 12 to Rudy's, or at least 10.
Yeah, Saquon's projected like 13 right now, so whatever. I don't know who he has in there, but yeah, that's I can't wait for that matchup. I might be watching that more than my own. Mine's a must-win too. Don't get me wrong. I am definitely not touting to be like a great team because I'm certainly not at this point at 2-3. But this is like theater right here. Like this is gonna be a fucking movie.
Yeah, good luck to those guys. I wouldn't want to be in your spot.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, well, I think that wraps up the Week 5 recap. You got any closing thoughts for us here?
Nope. We got Week 6 coming up. Playoffs are starting to kind of form a little bit, and I couldn't be happier.
All right. Love that. All right, guys. Well, we will hopefully be back next week and try and keep these more consistent. We'll be trying to get back for the Week 6 recap. We definitely gotta highlight that toilet bowl. But good luck to everybody in Week 6. I can't wait for this weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.